I don't know how to start. Let's just start like this. This is our first show. I'm Robert John Patterson, and this is my buddy Stu Graham. Say hi, Stu.
Yep. Hey, listeners, all three of you out there.
Whoop.
So we're gonna try and break down this DC versus Derrick Lewis fight card and tell you what we think about it, and hopefully our knowledge comes through because I don't know that much about a lot of these guys. So we'll do our best here.
I think you're underestimating. I think we can get 7 to 10 listeners today.
7 to 10?
Yeah, I'm going to shoot high. I'm going to go double digit. Double digit.
So my girlfriend, my dad,
yeah,
your brother, and the other guys you podcast with.
I'm positive my brother will not listen to this.
Oh, yeah, because he subscribes to one podcast.
Yeah.
Your podcast.
He hates fighting. I can think of like twice in my life that I watched fighting with that guy.
It's possible that he hates you.
It's possible. But tonight is UFC 230.
230, the big
230 in Madison Square Garden, New York, the Mecca, as some say.
Those Madison Square Garden cards are always so fucking sick, though, because, like, Dana's like, we fought so hard to get here, and we want to kill it. And it's kind of a shame that the Diaz fight got kicked off, but Diaz is out of his goddamn mind right now. So
he's always been yeah. I feel like this card was a shit show. Like, this main event didn't really happen until like almost 2 or 3 weeks ago.
I know, and without this main event though, like it's a good card for people who love UFC, but it's like for the people who want to see Derrick Lewis talk about his fucking hot ass nuts and DC and his double champ fucking glory. It's good for them, not so great. It's great for all sorts of fans, really.
It's hard to sell it to like the casuals though, because both like the main event dudes are like just likable as shit. Like, they're just so cool, and there's no throwing dollies at buses or anything. Like, they're just like two jokesters. I know,
but how sick would it be if Derrick Lewis gets that knockout and goes full karate kick over the cage like Khabib and crushes like 10 dudes?
It would be sick, like, in theory, but I put a bunch of money on, well, not a bunch, but I put money on the fight, and I'm going with Cormier.
Of course you are. You've been a DC dick rider forever.
Man.
I'm
OG DC dick rider.
And over the last year, every single fight, I always go against him, and you finally sold me on DC. And I think it was you made the, like, let's just get into the great dad point you made.
Yeah, so
about
this is a really silly MMA breakdown. For people looking for like a Dan Hardy or like one of these like really intuitive like striking and stance and footwork breakdowns, you can go ahead and fuck off. Like, you're not getting that. I base everything on nickname and like what kind of father I think they are, basically. And
you got DC at about a 10 father.
Oh
scale,
man,
right?
he's got the dad in every category, like dad bod. He's got a dad smile. I just picture him wearing a sweater.
Dad bod too.
Heavyweight
Woo.
Dad bod.
Woo!
Yeah, exactly.
Derrick Lewis once said after a fight, I'm fighting to feed my kids. So that's a fucking pretty sick dad too. And he's always talking about humping his wife, which is also very cool.
I do respect a good hump the wife comment. As someone that's been in, I think, only 2 long-term relationships, it gets really hard to maintain the magic after like 3 or 4 years. So like, I respect anyone that's like hard on humping their
Oh,
wife.
dude, he's so pumped to get done with the fight to go home and hump his wife that he humps the ground after he knocks the guy out. The guy's on the floor, eyes rolled back in his head, and he's licking his lips, humping the ground. And there's nothing but respect for my man Derrick Lewis on that one. So you got DC on this one then?
Yeah, okay, but let's start at the beginning.
Yeah,
So
we should.
the idea that me and Stu have not really lived in the same town or city in like a decade, but we talk every 2 or 3 days via Facebook Messenger about UFC and our picks. And
it's usually absolute nonsense if you read what we've talked about on Facebook. You might be putting us in an insane asylum, or just we might be put on the spectrum.
I'm on the spectrum. I'm self-declared spectrum boy. But I went on like fucking Bet DSI today, and I put on a 5-dude parlay. So we're gonna run through the main card, and I'm gonna say my picks. Stu is gonna either agree or disagree. We're gonna go through some stats, and that's gonna be our show today, I think.
Okay, so I have them up on my iPad.
Yeah.
So as you go through them, I'll pull them up, and then I can check out the stats and tell you what I think, because a lot of these guys I'm familiar with, like obviously Stylebender and Brunson and Branch and Weidman and Souza, but Roberson, Marshman.
Yeah.
Marshman. I've never seen either of those guys fight.
Okay, so
I have.
We're on the same page because I skipped that fight. I never heard of either of those dudes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But just before we hop into that, I'd like on the I'm here in Toronto, so on the TSN 3, I guess it's the prelim. Not the early prelim, just the normal prelim. That Knight guy is a bad motherfucker. He always has a great interview with Rogan, and he's always trying to get on Rogan's podcast, and Rogan's just like, all right, dude, whatever. And then there's that the really nerdy looking chick who is on the Ultimate Fighter, who a lot of people love, is fighting on there too, and Saunders, who's been around forever, it's actually a really great prelim. Like I know more people on the prelim than that Roberson Marshman fight.
I picked on the Jordan Ronaldo Jason Knight fight, but I can't remember who I picked right now. I'm trying to look on this stupid website. Like, how do I pick who I picked again? So bear with me, listeners. I might have goofed this one up.
Knight's a knockout guy, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's just a crazy, like, he balls to the wall, a bit of a southern white trash guy, right?
Yeah.
That's who I'm thinking of.
I'm positive I picked Jason Knight, even though I don't know how to check on the website who I picked, because I'm a bit of an idiot. Because I'm going to tell you the stat that jumps out to me, Stu. If you look at his significant strikes, we're looking at 3.27 landed per minute.
That means he's just throwing bomb after bomb after bomb after
and you know
bomb
what?
after bomb.
Do you want to know what, man? That's only second to Daniel Cormier on the entire card.
Really?
I went deep on the stats.
DC throws like that?
He's a wild man.
See, I think what took DC so long to get his, like, where he is and where he should be, and where you should have been able to convince me long ago,
right?
But I was just too damn stubborn, he's such a great wrestler that people don't think of him with that power, or with the striking. But I mean, look what he did to Stipe.
Yeah, yeah. I think that was his like golden moment as far as power. But he comes from
Yeah,
that Cain Velasquez, Javier Mendez style
yeah,
of just like puts his head, on the opponent's chest
yeah.
and just like goes to the body, goes to the head, just that dirty inside boxing. And I'm a big
Yeah,
fan.
and there's been a lot of his fights where he's relied on his chin to get inside to get the takedown. So yeah, he definitely does go balls to the wall, and that dirty boxing style before it goes to the ground is fucking
It's
sick.
just greasy and exhausting for someone that's an Anthony Rumble Johnson that's just not prepared.
Man, that's kind of this is my thing with DC, and and I know we're jumping ahead again because we're both have huge boners for that main fight,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's DC fights everybody who's cool
He
too.
does.
Like
Yeah,
he
yeah.
fights Rumble, he fights John Jones, he fights Stipe, he fights everybody that is likable. So when you're going into it, you're just like, oh, you want DC to win because like he's got this great legacy, great dad, of course,
Of
and
course.
and he's really only lost to John Jones, who what was John Jones on at the time? I mean, but
I think John Jones is probably a terrible father, but I'm a big John Jones fan. He's the
oh, dude, I
exception
love
that
him.
proves the rule, as they say in grammar.
I would say that he's probably a worse husband than he is a father.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. His husband duties are so terrible that his
Yeah,
father, might.
when you're getting out there on the streets like he is, that like maybe he's not coming home every night. But I don't want to.
When
That's
he ran over
alleged.
that, yeah, when he allegedly ran over that pregnant lady and then grabbed his weed and ran away, like he
I
didn't
don't
run
think there was
home.
anything alleged about that.
Well,
He straight up did that
he
shit.
did that, but I allegedly believe he did not run home. Like he's got he's got apartments all over
Wait,
Albuquerque.
you think he jogged? All right, dude. Let's get to
So
let's get to
wait,
your
let's
picks
finish this
because
prelims. Fucking
sorry.
BT Sport and UFC Fight Pass. I got Jason Knight over Jordan Rinaldi.
Okay, I'm with you on that one. Just because I like every once in a while, there's just a guy who's fucking so white trash and
Mm,
crazy that I like, and usually I'm like, that's not usually my type of dude, but for some reason, that guy, his attitude, his style, like the fact that he's down to lose brain cells,
yep.
and I'm a fan, so I'm with you on that guy. And I don't know jack shit about the other guy, and he kind of looks like someone who would like aggressively buy a girl a drink at the bar.
Two things about Rinaldi I don't like. His name sounds like he's a magician, which I'm
Or a soccer
automatically
player.
disrespectful, or a soccer player, double disrespect. And I don't like his eyebrows to nipple gap. Like I'm looking at this photo online, and he just looks like he has a low chest.
Oh, dude, I'm zooming in on that right now.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
picking
not
up what you're putting
I'm not
down.
feeling that. If you like scan over to Jason Knight, he looks compact. He looks like a guy that's just he's got a stronger back, I think.
Yeah, but he's uglier than a box of hammers
Oh
too.
yeah, God. He's
But that's what you
he
want.
looks
Look
like
at Diaz.
the Mark Wahlberg's brother in The Sixth Sense. You know, in the beginning of The Sixth Sense, there's that like sick dude in the bathroom. That's Jason Knight right now.
Dude, that's a good flick.
Okay, let's move to the main card.
All
So
right, main
we're
card.
kicking it off with Derrick Brunson in Israel Adesanya.
Adesanya, I think it is.
Adesanya?
They call him Style
The style
Bender,
bender.
right?
Yeah, I just call him style bender. Adesanya. I respect his
Yeah,
tattoo work. I love that side deal he's got going on.
yeah, and he's just always talking shit all the time too.
Yeah.
He,
But I
he's
picked
got
against him.
and I saw him in what looked to be a jacket similar to something Conor McGregor would wear.
Mm,
So, but a little bit more culturally appropriate for our man Stylebender. So who you got in that one?
I picked Derek Brunson just because I wanted to go with a little bit of the underdog. But like
Yeah,
Stylebender is legit. Like I feel like if I boner this parlay, it's on this fight right now.
and Stylebender is who they brought Stylebender in for DC's camp against John Jones.
Really?
Yeah, they were making a big comparison with him and John Jones, but I mean, I don't know. I he, when he fought that Italian guy with the giant head not too long ago, he weathered the storm of the wrestling. So if he can do that again tonight, I think he's got a good shot. I got Stylebender in that one.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you, but as far as my my five dude parlay goes, I wanted Bronson
Yeah,
just to get a bit of an underdog edge.
I like Brunson
I
too,
love
man.
Brunson. He gave Luke Rockhold some problems. Is that who he fought? Like,
Yeah,
yeah, he gave Rockhold some problems. And although I
yeah, and
think
he fought Jacare too, didn't he?
yeah, I think so. Let me pull up his wiki.
Was that Jacare's last fight?
Yeah,
Maybe.
Souza Jacare beat him in the first
Yeah,
round.
he beat him. He beat him by knockout too,
Yeah.
which I mean we'll get to old Jacare in a little bit, but that guy's the fucking real deal. So but that's not a bad guy to lose against, but it's just you kind of expect more of a wrestling war between Jacare and Brunson,
Yeah,
and
I'm feeling Brunson, but I can't argue with you. Stylebender, like just that name alone, like I said earlier, like I go by potential like dad qualities and nickname, and Stylebender is legit. I don't know if
dude,
his
the
fathered, a
last
set of kids or
style
anything.
bender.
Yeah, but damn.
Like there's not another one.
No, there's
He's
no
it.
follow-up Stylebenders. I don't know any
All right.
previous style benders either, though. Like he might be first and last style bender.
Shit, son. That's awesome.
Okay, let's look
There
up.
is no other
There's
style
no
benders.
other. The only style or ultimate style bender.
And on that Big Brown show, Big Brown said something about his fighting style or someone similar to his fighting style, and he just came at Big Brown
Really?
like no tomorrow. Like he didn't give a
Oh
shit.
yeah,
He
I
was like,
remember
I
that.
don't.
That was a few months
So
ago. Yeah.
yeah, it was. I think it was before. It was either. I think it was before he fought the Italian guy whose name's slipping my mind right now with the gigantic head. And but that was a great fight too, and it, like, I mean, it proved a lot of people wrong that once he faced a good wrestler that he would just be fucked, and
Oh yeah, style
I don't know,
bender's
he
legit,
nailed it.
man.
Yeah, dude, I like him. I'm a fan. He's good on the mic, and if he can move up, like, he's gonna get into beefs with someone down the line. Like let's not lie and pretend like we're not in it for a little bit of WWE
Oh,
action
that's
as
the most
well.
important part. What do you know?
Yeah.
Stylebender's current fatherhood situation.
I don't know. I was thinking childless, but I'm not sure.
I look at his abs and I think this guy must have kids. Like, who would turn this guy down?
Yeah, but maybe he's out there in New Zealand protecting himself.
Yeah, who
You know, New
knows?
Zealand's not that big of a place. They're probably those ladies are probably throwing themselves at the last bender.
I want to apologize to all our listeners right now because when I went skateboarding today and I bought 2 liters of wine off this dude on a bike. Like he just had like a backpack full of like 2 liter
That's
bottles
the
of
best
wine.
way I've ever heard anybody buy wine.
It was sick. It was only $4.
Fuck, so great service and great deal.
Man, the guy just pulled up and like I don't speak the language. Like I'm in Romania right now. And he just like showed me, vino, vino. And I'm like, I know that word. That's Italian for wine. And yeah, he's like $4. I'm like, down.
Just for like old reference, mine and RJ's friendship the whole time that we lived in the same proximity, you didn't drink or eat meat or anything, and then you move away, and we could have been drinking buddies that whole time. And now, when you come back, we're going to be the best of drinking buddies.
Basically.
But we might have to start a bicycle wine delivery business.
Yeah. We have to
we'll let that
embrace
Romania have it out there, but we're stealing that idea.
It was a good service, man. This guy just pulled up and just like hollered at me to come over.
Do you think he made it, or
I really do think he did. Like if I gave him an ocular pat down, I looked him up and north to south, and I felt like
you're not going to be able to watch the fights tonight because you're not going to make it. Blind.
I'm for sure not going to make it. But I felt like I saw evidence of like grape smearage at the cuffs of his pants. Like I think he stomped the grapes himself.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's amazing.
It's legit. It tastes pretty.
So that's fresh. Some people like the aged wine, but that guy's going just out there.
Yeah. There was a Romanian toenail. There's a Romanian toenail in the bottle, like a tequila bottle with the worm.
How are you liking it out there?
Romania you've been all over the fucking sick, map dude. Recently. Man, like I came to Romania.
I saw your apartment, which when we get once we get a social media for this show, we should definitely show that hammock because that was fucking pretty cool.
So sick. I came here a month ago and I'm just like, whatever, I'm gonna move to Romania. And I bought a one-way ticket, and like I paid for like this like room. Like I just found a dude online that had a room for rent. Yeah. And now I just moved this week to a different apartment because I'm doubling down. I'm staying for at least 2 months.
Yeah.
And I'm in this like 2-story house, man. Okay, so sorry for our listeners that are here for some Derrick Brunson breakdowns, but we're going off topic hard.
Yeah, I want to back
pay. I'm sorry. I just want to say, I used to live in Toronto, and I'd pay $800 a month, and I'd split a loft with 7 people. Like it was crazy.
And that was what, 2 years ago?
Yeah, 3 years ago? I was like,
and you couldn't get that now. You couldn't get a room for under $1,000 down here.
Yeah, right and that was sharing a room with 6 other roommates, and it was like $800 a month. I'm like, screw this.
Yep.
So I moved to like all these like European, like not the capital city, but just like a big city.
Yeah.
And right now I'm in Romania, and I'm paying $250 Canadian for a 2-story house with 3 bedrooms, and I live alone. It is sick.
That's amazing.
It's
But
sick.
just to back things up one
Let's
more
go
time
one
before
step
we get
back.
back to fighting,
Let's Michael J.
I
Fox
just
one
in
step
case there's
backward.
no layover listeners from your
Yeah,
other podcast,
yeah.
how long are you allowed in there? Because you had a little bit of a situation where you almost got arrested by a little person on roller skates
Yep.
and were held captive and pretty much almost kicked out of where were you at the time?
I was 100% banned from mainland Europe, basically. There's like this, it's called the Shenzhen region of Europe, and it's like 22 or 24 countries that have all agreed to like have no borders, basically, and you can treat international flights like domestic flights, so you can like fly between these countries with no customs. And I totally just ignored all the visa requirements and stayed there 11 months when I was only supposed to stay there 90 days. So I got...
So earlier that day,
Yeah.
before this happens, you messaged me and you're like, dude, this might be the day. I've been pushing my luck. I think I'm getting at least sent home, maybe arrested. And then like an hour later, you're sending me text messages from like some sort of like prison environment that they had you in for fucking hours.
I totally forgot I was messaging you. Yeah, I was in friggin' airport jail all day. And I didn't want to play on my phone because I was like trying to play like, sorry, I screwed up. And I thought like, man, if they see me on my phone just like texting people, they're going to not think, any pity on this dude. So I was like careful to like have a sad old face on me. And then, I was like sneaking you messages like, dude, I'm in friggin' airport jail because I overstayed my visa by 9 months.
Yeah, and what episode of Pretty Much Experts did you explain all that? Just so like, because I don't want you to have to go through the whole story, but definitely for the listeners, check out that episode. And there's like a 20-minute breakdown of the most ridiculous situation in an airport you will ever hear, that it doesn't even sound real.
It does not
but
sound
I know
real.
it was real because you were sending me photos of it while it was happening.
Yeah, totally. I am on another podcast called Pretty Much Experts, and the episode was called International Cover-Up. And it details my experience in airport jail with a little person, immigration officer, security guard, airport customs dude on rollerblades. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. But
so check that out after you listen to our podcast.
Yeah. I will try my hardest to not go to airport jail here in Romania, because God knows what will happen there.
Yeah, that's a scary one. So, okay, and one more thing that I want to touch on that. What is your stipulations with travel right now? Are you allowed to? Is it just Europe?
No, I'm banned from all those countries. Like, if you think of Europe and you start to name countries, like the top 22 are all the good ones, and I'm banned from all those ones. So I can't go back there for at least 1 year. So I'm in Romania right now. I was in Montenegro last month, which is like cool but super poor. And I can stay here for 3 months. I looked online. So I'm only like 1 month in. So I'm cool.
Yeah, and you're enjoying it there too with that sweet spread, man. You got out there.
Yeah, I might come back to Canada in December because my mom's giving me the gears. I haven't been home in like a year or so.
But are you scared to come
sick.
home and then try and travel again though?
Not to try and travel. I'm more scared to like go back to Canada and like
get too comfortable.
I don't know. I don't think I would be comfortable. I think that's the thing. Like I love this lifestyle of just like a new city every month and like starting fresh and making friends and like finding like, oh, this is a cool bar or this is a cool cafe. Like I like that reset every month. So to go back to Canada and
Yeah,
to go back to Toronto is just like, I did that already.
and it's not like you're well, you are completely gypsying it, but like, or traveler, sorry. But you're setting up jobs and doing work, and you're getting specific work sometimes in these places you go to, right? Like you did that mural and
Yeah,
everything.
it's
So
been
it's like
cool.
it's not like you're just like bumming around
No,
like
no, I've been
I'm
working.
I'm a lifetime backpacker
I
or
had this
anything like that. Like you're doing your shit.
I had
So
this like stupid epiphany last year. I was like knee deep into Grand Theft Auto 5, and I thought about
great
like,
game.
well, like you make money in that game, and I'm like, if I put as much effort into real life as I put into making money in this friggin' game, like in the
Yeah.
game, you're like, yeah, I'll go do that and make, some money. I'll go do this, and it's like no one does that in real life. Like, why don't I try that?
Yeah, just
Like, just
piece by
fucking,
piece,
yeah, just hustle
without the
around for,
criminal stuff.
yeah, exactly. Like, there's money to be made. So I've been doing that
All
for
right,
like 14 months now. Anyway, let's get
all
back
right.
to this
Let's get
friggin'
back to
main
this
card.
fucking card
Jeez.
and touch on this
We're at
shitty fight that we don't know about, which
Roberson
probably
and
will end up
Marshman.
being a barn burner, and we're gonna sound like idiots for not knowing
I'll
anything
tell you
about
why I
it.
skipped it right away. I
Okay.
feel like Jack Marsham is doing the old-fashioned gut sucking in his pose.
But he's from South Wales, and
That's not a country.
those people are crazy.
Wales is a country. South Wales? Like, get out of here, Jack Marsham.
Yeah, like Wales is
It's the
is like the size of
smallest
my
country.
living room.
Yeah, get out of here. That's like
lives
saying
on
you're
the
from the
south
coffee
end of
table in Stu's living room.
it.
Fucking South Wales. Marsham with your guts
So you
up.
skipped this
I
one on your
skipped it.
picks, then?
I would not waste my Bet DSI money. That's a shameless plug. They don't sponsor us yet, but I skipped it.
Yeah, I'm going with our boy with Jackie from South Wales then.
You're going with Jackie?
But actually Baby K is kind of like a hip hop name.
Yeah.
For Karl Roberson. Nah, I'm going with South Wales because I think it's funny.
One thing that bugs me though, like I want to lean Baby K, but
yeah,
I'm a bit of a details man. You know this about me. And
yeah.
Baby K is facing the left. And if you look at every other fight on this card, they're facing like in toward each other.
Ooh.
And Karl Robinson, Baby K, is facing
He's shying
out.
away.
And it also leads me to believe that the UFC promotional people did not want to waste time taking photos of his other side. So
they blow it sometimes on this stuff. Like, remember when they just didn't have a picture of Chris Cyborg?
Yes.
Like one of the biggest female fighters in the world, and one of the baddest chicks in the world, and they're just like just didn't have a picture of her. And there's thousands that they could have put out there, even if it was like an old Invicta picture or wherever she came from. Or was it the Strike Force?
Yeah, she came from Strike Force, and she's also the Invicta champion. I think it was a mess over.
Pardon?
I think she was both Strike Force, then Invicta, then UFC.
Yeah, and what's the deal with this Invicta? Because UFC owns Invicta, right?
Yeah.
Because I noticed that, like, girls who fight in Invicta will just randomly fight in UFC, but then be back in Invicta. Like that Pearl Gonzalez girl,
right,
with the fake titties.
Yeah.
She came up and fought in the UFC, and now she's like back in Invicta, but then she's still like does some promotional stuff through UFC. So I don't know. That they need to explain that shit a bit better.
Yeah. I remember there was a bit of a crossover between like WEC and UFC before they merged, but that was only a year of training wheels. before it was like just
Yeah.
completely absorbed. I don't know what's going on with Invicta. Like I've never
Yeah, but
heard
that
of
made
an
sense just
Invicta
because of
event.
the smaller guys, right? Like
Yeah,
because WEC had the smaller guys, and then at the time,
they had some
like I
big
could be
dudes
making
though.
this up because I'm
Yeah,
like a newer fan. You've been in it for the long haul.
yeah.
I got like I got into UFC probably about 3 years ago when Ronda was breaking everybody's arm, and I just thought that was the coolest thing in the world. And I'm not even the biggest Ronda fan anymore, but
Yeah.
I like that's what got me in, and I've been completely hooked ever since.
WEC was known for their light divisions, but they did have
Hmm.
a full weight class set up. Like Chael Sonnen was the middleweight champion.
Yeah,
They had a full gamut of dudes. It was
but
just
at the
the
time the
lighter divisions
UFC
were
didn't have the
stacked.
lighter divisions,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. UFC didn't have
Yeah.
anything below lightweight, and WEC had Uriah Faber and Jose Aldo and Dominic Cruz. Like they had all those dudes. So UFC
Imagine
took them.
now UFC not having a 155-pound division with just how much talent's
Yeah,
there.
I know it's crazy.
Like,
It's one of the most interesting divisions.
and even the 135, man. Like there's a lot of good fights to be made there too.
Yeah, I
So
feel like now that Demetrius Johnson got traded, they're gonna like close that 125.
yeah, like really, what's the point?
There's
He
no
was
point.
it,
He
and
was
then
it.
I guess they got that other little guy. What's that guy? The gold medalist who
Henry Cadejo,
yeah, yeah.
Cadejo.
We're
Could
blowing
to
it. We're
say
doing a podcast and we can't name a champion's name. Sahio.
Sahil.
Yeah. Let's just
Henry
pretend we
Sahil.
didn't say that.
He's sick. Like he's Olympic gold medalist. It's just like the division just isn't interesting. Like
He looks
sorry Henry.
like Lil Henry looks kind of like a little person because
He
he's got a bigger head and then he's got those tiny little hands. Like when you see him in the interview and he's got the hat on and his head's looking all big, and then
yeah.
he's got those tiny little just like concrete block hands.
Same
But
with
I don't
Demetrius
know. I
Johnson.
want to see him fight TJ.
I want to see him fight TJ like up a bit. It's funny to just like think of like cuz me and you are both like on the smaller scale of like adults,
Yeah.
but like 125 pounds, like that's pretty damn
Dude, that's
small.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's like, yeah, that's like
He's like 5'4"
a
or
long
some
time
shit.
ago.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
100%
yeah,
in the
that's
skill department, but as far as like an idol that I think would make a great father, I'm gonna have to pass. Like your 7-year-old son is the same size as you.
you're not giving him the father
I'm
pass.
not. I can't. You can't look up to your
My dad's
father when
pretty
you're
kick ass, and I'm taller than him.
Yeah, yeah, but he's got like weight on
So
him. He's got some girth.
yeah, and he's not a fighter, so it doesn't really count.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not, it only really counts if you're a sweet UFC fighter.
Yeah.
That's really that's like it goes like whether you're a wrestler, knockout artist, great dad, maybe great dad goes first. I don't know, but
I
it's
think
definitely in the mix.
I judge fighters great dad, nickname, and then level of abs. Those are my 3 tiers. So
But
based
what
on
about
this
so
fight of
DC
DC,
brings
yeah,
it because of the
he's
dad
2
thing
out of
because
3.
there's no abs going
There's
on
no
there.
abs. He
That's
has no nickname either, but I love that he has no nickname.
no, but that's okay. Only bad motherfuckers who can pull off a no nickname. Like he's
Yeah.
just DC.
I'd
Like he just
rather
was like, I don't need some ridiculous nickname. I'm just DC.
I'd rather have no
Like
nickname than Baby K. Like Karl Roberson. Get out of here, buddy.
yeah.
You're facing the wrong way on your UFC, pick'em photo. Your nickname is Baby K. Like, sorry, dude. I'm agreeing. I'm going with Jack Marsham also, even though South Wales is not a friggin' country and you're sucking your gut in.
And there's too many the hammers or the hammer or
Yeah.
like that. These guys there's so many words out there. They don't have to keep doing the same shit.
Yeah, I'd go with Jack.
Do you think that's where fighters are just like different from people like us, where it's just like they're ass kickers, but like the creativity spectrum's a bit down?
I'd say the creativity is real down. The coaches have a lot of creativity. And there's this like unwritten rule in like the fighter world that you can't give yourself a nickname, and when someone else gives you a nickname, like that's just your nickname. But like you should be able to stand up and be like, I don't want to be Baby K. Like I'm 100% an adult. Baby K,
on that
Karl Roberson, like I'm not facing the right direction in my photo.
Yeah, fuck Baby K. I hope he gets fucking knocked out in the first 13 seconds.
I think
let's move on from these junkers.
They're annoying me. Let's go to Branch. What do you know about the Killer Gorilla?
Not a lot actually. I think I watched one of his recent fights and he did pretty well. That's really not a lot of information, and I could just be thinking of another guy that looks exactly like him. Yep. I like the Killer Gorilla. And hey, we got a nickname with David Branch though.
I do like that.
So
yep,
I like David Branch. When he came into the UFC and he was all pissed off and he was walking through New York and like hollering at the streets and the embedded and stuff.
Yeah.
But then he got his ass kicked and it was just like, oh man. But he lost to Rockhold as well, right?
Yeah. I think we confused Brunson and Branch. I think only Branch fought Rockhold.
Yeah, Branch fought Rockhold in his first fight after being the double champ at
World Series?
World Fighting. Yeah, World Series.
World Series of Fighting.
So
Branch is legit, but Rockhold didn't look very good against him. And I don't know if that was like Rockhold is like past his prime and Branch is just more legit than we thought, or off night for Rockhold, but like Branch looked really good even in defeat.
What do you think is up with Rockhold though? It seems like he's pulling out a lot of fights. He's like, is it the model money that he's getting? Like he's got this weird attitude. He's so unlikable, but he's fun to watch as a fighter, man. Those kicks and everything, like he and when he was like, he wasn't training at AKA, but he's always in the ring with the AKA guys after they win and stuff. It was just like,
did you see that fucking sweater he was wearing last month in the Khabib breakup?
Oh, I know.
He had a fucking shirt on him. Come on.
You gotta get a better sweater. You just
step
up your sweater. If you're gonna be a
that is
model,
so cool.
Like,
yeah.
I hated that sweater.
When I think I don't know. I was gonna say, like, I think of Luke Rockhold, and I think of everything that I hate in like douchebag jock dudes, but I also like want to be him so badly.
Oh yeah, man. Because of the Lovato.
He's got a set of abs on him, like I said, my number 3 most important thing, and the kicks, like you said, are serious. He's got a stone gaze on him, like he just looks like he's staring through you, like you don't matter, because he's such an arrogant prick. Like I kind of wish I had that.
He's such a piece of shit.
He's such a piece of shit. Like I'm not that dude though. Like I just want to like shake your hands and ask you like about your day. And Rockhold is just like looking past you to see like, you know, maybe there's a hot chick on the other side of the room. He's not a good dad for sure. He can't be a good dad.
Awful dad. Yeah, definitely would. Awful dad. Probably has a kid somewhere and is pulling a Drake and keeping it secret type thing, you know? Sure. But very fun to watch fight. And
I love him
when
as a fighter.
Bisping knocked him out was one of my fucking favorite things ever. And then Bisping just kept talking shit to him. Do you know where you are, mate? Do you know where you are, mate?
I'm gonna go on the record right
press
now.
Conference after.
And just like I friggin' wish we started this show 2 years ago when Bisping was still fighting, because he's my all-time favorite. He is a great father.
I didn't get into him until the end of his career, and I'm just like, I went back, like you said, like last week when you were telling me that you were watching all his old highlights, and like all his trash talk, and there's that mini documentary about him, and like I went and watched all that, and I was just like, oh, he's top 5. Now I don't get to watch him fight anymore. I missed the boat.
Heartbreaker. He's just the best shit talker, and he's such a horrible winner. Like, if I had to say, okay, so I'm gonna reevaluate. I'm gonna go. Number 1 is your best dad. Number 2 is the name. 3 abs. 4th is like what kind of horrible winner you are. I love a horrible winner. And Bisping is 10 out of 10.
Habib is a fucking great horrible winner.
Yeah, Habib is a horrible winner. I love that.
Yeah, that was just... I was really wasted when that all went down, and I'm such a McGregor fan. I was like, this is an absolute travesty. And then I woke up in the morning, and Sheena was... Sheena that night was just like, Stu, you're gonna think this is awesome tomorrow. And then she woke up, and by the way, Sheena's my girlfriend.
Yeah.
But
look at you showing off with a regular girlfriend.
Yeah, and then so she wakes up in the morning. I've been up still from the night before, and I've sobered up, and I'm just like, man, that kick was so cool. Look how crazy he is. And then he's demanding his belt, and he's doing all this crazy shit. I was like, I don't know what I was so pissed off about last night. Khabib's the best. Yeah. Khabib's the best. So.
Yeah, I like a good winner, man.
Anyways, who do you got in this one? Are we going with Branch?
I went with Branch just because, like, Killer Gorilla, that name is not better than no nickname.
Yeah.
That's 100% what I base my pick on.
Yeah. And you know what? The Killer Gorilla, if you look at his picture, he looks like under that like face he's putting on, he looks like way too nice of a guy.
Yeah.
Like that guy looks like a guy that'll hold the door for you and when you're walking into the pub, and then have a short conversation with you while you're walking up to the bar, and then tell you to have a good day. Yeah. David Branch, not so much. He's going to walk right by you.
I feel like
he's mad at something else.
David Branch has kids for sure, and he's fighting for his kids. I can tell by that expression. It's just like that, like, no, you didn't look on his face. I love it.
Good dad.
Yeah.
We got ourselves a good dad.
We got a good dad right there, David Branch. Let's move on to Chris.
Let's get to this one.
The All-American Weidman in Jacare Ronaldo Souza. Souza or Souza?
Ooh,
what do you say?
I think it's Souza. Souza.
I always say Souza, and then people look at me weird, so I'm going to go with Souza.
Okay, I'm going to agree with you then, because I've never said it out loud to anybody other than you. So I always just call him Jacare, because I think Jacare is a tough name.
I don't know what that means, but I love it.
Yeah. Oh, his first name isn't even actually Jacare?
No, it's Ronaldo.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a nickname.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
That's amazing. That's a great nickname.
That's like Rampage
and
Jackson
that guy
level.
loves his wife so much,
For
which
sure.
means that if he doesn't have kids, which I don't think he did because I didn't see them in the embedded, he's going to be a great dad.
Yeah, of course.
So,
I think Brazilians make great fathers.
Yeah, but I mean, Chris Weidman might be dad of the year.
I have a problem with Chris Weidman.
Okay, I want to hear it.
I think Chris Weidman has lost, like, I'm going to go off the top of my head and say 8 in a row. and he always blames fluke on his losses. You know,
Yeah.
What's that like jacked up dude from Cuba's name? That's like really sexy.
Oh, the best dude ever.
Yeah, the best dude ever.
How is he escaping our name? He's like the best dude
He's the
ever.
best dude
oh
ever.
My god.
Yoel Romero.
Yes.
Yoel Romero need his face back 1 century. He sent him back to the 1800s. And Weidman just said, like, oh, it was my fault. I should not have put my head in that position.
Put my face there.
Yeah.
Well, no shit. That's what you're supposed to do in a fight.
Yeah.
Not get fucking kneed in the face back to
telegraph your
the 1800s, like you said.
Your takedown came from 2 weeks ago, and Yoel saw it and kicked your head off.
Well, I'm going to go out there and
there's one more point, though. Weidman is always going on about his losses are all flukes, but he doesn't acknowledge that his wins, in my opinion, are also flukes. Like he knocked out Anderson Silva.
I've never been able to get on the Weidman train.
Yeah,
was because he won the belt because Anderson Silva was being a goofball.
He was being a goof, fucking around. I'll give Weidman credit. He gave Anderson a 1 round of a competitive fight.
Yeah.
But Anderson was 100% goofing around, doing like a Guitar Hero or some shit, and Weidman knocked him out. For sure, Weidman knocked him out. But Weidman knocked him out because Anderson was fucking around. And then in the rematch, Anderson broke his own leg.
Just amount of time before that happened to Anderson, because he'd been doing that to fights prior, but he was just too good.
Yeah.
But Weidman happened to catch him, and I never thought Weidman deserved to be a champion.
Right.
Like I just didn't. I never like. I really like in the embedded. He's a likable guy, great dad, like all that shit, and I really like that he puts on for New York and really push forward, getting all that shit. But I think that he is the most overrated fighter in all of the UFC.
Yeah, I would love to see Chris Weidman change camps and go to like a more legit fighting team. I love Matt Serra as a personality.
Oh yeah,
but if you had to like pick like teams, like I don't think that Serra Longo is like, they're good enough maybe to get you to the fight, but I don't know, man.
Well, that's the thing.
They don't
got
have that legacy.
Quinta, who's a great fighter, and he did good against Khabib, but you're never gonna see him with the strap. You know, you're gonna see him in good wars, but you're going to see him get a lot of damage and maybe get a good knockout here and there. But, like, is him and Lee booked? Kevin Lee?
I think it's booked.
Is that a fight booked? I think Kevin Lee is going to handle a Quinta in that. And like you said, I think there's a very, like, distinct reflection of these great teams and great fighters. Yeah. Like, look at AKA, look at what Jackson Wink used to be before fucking shit hit the fan over there. Like, look at like all these great camps because they're training with the best. Like, there's very few guys that I think it's more in the heavyweight division you can get away with not being part of like a crazy team. Like Stipe doesn't have a crazy team, and even our boy Lewis doesn't really like have like a crazy team. But like anywhere else, like in any other weight division, it seems like a real strong team is important.
I feel like the heavyweight division is just a complete shit show for that reason. Like, you can just be a moderately in shape dude and fight for the heavyweight title like Derrick Lewis.
But to go like complete opposite on my point there, I who look at Cain Velasquez. He was with AKA,
Yeah.
and he's arguably the best heavyweight of all time.
Yep. For
So,
sure. For
so
sure.
you want to see these guys be in good camps, and I think that going back to Rockhold not doing as well recently is maybe because he's not training at AKA with those guys as much. You know, he went into his last two fights because he wasn't training at AKA because Kane was hurt and DC had just lost. I think DC had just lost to John Jones, so he wasn't in the gym either.
Yeah.
So he was saying that's why he was training in Florida, but really he's just fucking doing model stuff and hanging out in Florida.
Yeah, it was one of those. It was a legit excuse to be like, I got to do my training camp elsewhere because all my boys are injured or not fighting right now. But I agree
But he
with
did
you.
the next one out there too.
Yeah, he just like stuck it to them to show them like, okay, I'm gonna stay in Florida.
And I like I don't know all the shit behind it, and me personally not being a huge like Rockhold fan, like personality wise, it's just like it seems like that's just a douchey move that he would pull and just be like, I'm just gonna go do this over here.
Yeah, but that seems like the most like Rockhold move of all Rockhold moves. Like I don't even think you could call it a douche move. That's just a Rockhold move. That's his day one step.
Do you think that maybe like douchebag move and Rockhold move are the exact same thing?
I would argue they are the exact same thing.
Yeah. Like years from now, people will not be saying douchebag move because it will be somehow like non-PC and it'll just start being called a Rockhold.
Yeah, you pulled a Rockhold, or that's a Luke do. a Luke move.
A Luke do. A Luke do. So who you got here?
I picked Souza, Jacare. I just feel like Weidman is putting too much weight on excuses for his losses. Like his last win was against Calvin Gastelum, who's a legit fighter, but fighting up a division. Like, be honest.
Yeah, he should be a 170er for sure.
Post TRT Vitor Belfort, like 4 years ago, like that was his last win. Like dad bod.
I know,
Belfort.
And how are you gonna take the TRT out of Vitor?
No,
man?
You can't even spell.
That ain't right.
You can't spell Vitor with TRT without being TRT. Yeah, I think Weidman like talked his way into the heavyweight, or talked his way into the middleweight fight. Got a couple flukes over Anderson. He's just like fighting above his pay grade, in my opinion.
And I think like he's in this big fight because it's in New York and everything too.
Exactly.
But I'm this one for some reason. Every part of me thinks that Jacare is gonna win, but I'm going with Weidman.
Okay.
Because I want to see Weidman win a big fight like that at Madison Square Garden. I like when a likable hometown kid gets it done. I want to see the crowd go fucking crazy for him because you know they love him there. And really that's my only reason. And like I don't know, Jacare is adorable though.
You got me so excited for tonight. You got me so excited to see this crowd. I'm so pumped right now.
Fuck. All right, let's move on to the main one, man. We've talked about it a bit already, but I mean, we could talk about this for hours.
We got Daniel Cormier, DC, Dad of the
Double
Year.
champ.
Double champ. That's what the DC stands for now. Double champ against Derrick.
Dude, he foresaw his nickname, which really isn't a nickname because we've already agreed that DC doesn't have a nickname. He foresaw it and was just like, no, it's double champ because that's what I'm going to be later, bitch.
I think his parents foresaw it with that name.
Oh shit! Everybody saw it
They
except for
foresaw
John
it. It was
Jones.
destiny.
Except for John Jones.
Except for
John
John
Jones is like
Jones.
kick to the head.
Except for
Kick to the head.
John
You're out.
Jones and his tainted supplements. Tainted
All
in
right. Well,
quotations. And he's up
on a
against the
side
Black
note, there.
Beast. The fucking, came out of nowhere in 2018. Black Beast Derrick Lewis.
Black Beast, I train half an hour a day.
Half
I
an hour a
might
day.
train an hour a day for this DC fight, and then he comes out in an interview and goes, "Nah, still training half an hour a day."
I don't think
But
I don't think Lewis has the energy to check a watch to even know how long he trains per day. The guy is just in cruise control.
Did you see him running the sprints up that parking garage in the Embedded series? For I had to rewind it because I was trying to figure out if they fast forwarded. I was like, dude, are they fast forwarding it to make him look faster? So obviously you got your boy DC.
Yeah,
You got your boy DC.
I'm a little offended he only
thing.
has one title in this photo.
Oh, yeah. What the fuck are they doing
here? What the fuck, UFC? Come on, guys.
Oh, man. They blew it.
Roberson looked like a jabroni by facing the wrong direction, and now Daniel DC, double champ Cormier, is only holding one championship title. I don't even see
Black Beast looks like a black beast, though.
Yeah. This is a fight.
I like this fight, man. I like this fight because, there's never, ever been a bigger definition of a puncher's chance because you got the hardest hitting guy in the fucking world throwing that at you. And we've seen DC's chin hold up, but not against Derrick Lewis.
No.
So, I mean, Daniel's got to get in there, wrestle, fuck him to the ground, get that ground and pound on. Or I don't know if he can risk the opening like he did with Stipe. You know, like he let Stipe get in on him a bit, and I still think Stipe could actually beat both of these guys still. You know, if I don't know, I think if these guys fought a bunch of times, the outcome. Actually, I think DC beats Lewis a lot of the time, but I think if DC and Stipe fought again, I think that's a really interesting fight, and I would like to see it, but I'd like to hear Stipe just shut up about it. That rematch, he deserves it. We all know he deserves it, but we all know that's not how the UFC works anymore. DC's going to be gone in a couple months after he beats Lewis, and then he beats Brock, and then do you think he does Jones 3?
I don't think he does, but I hazard to go a step further without it mentioning that Stipe Miocic is a great father. He's new.
Amazing father.
He's new to the dad game. He's new. He's a brand new dad. And
he's a prankster and a firefighter.
What a great father, a prankster dad. You gotta love Stipe.
Dude,
deserves a rematch or whatever happens.
I'm such a fan of Stipe. Like when I was rooting for Stipe in that DC fight. Yeah, remember when we talked about it? But that DC knockout is what made me go full DC.
Yeah.
So I mean.
So there's two ways that DC can do this fight tonight, which is what he did with Stipe, where he just gets in the pocket and surprises Lewis by getting in the pocket, because Lewis is going to think that DC's just going to wrestle fuck him to the ground, like you said. Yeah. So DC could just get in his face, get the Cain Velasquez style, like forehead on the chest, and just do work. Or we see the Randy Couture versus James Toney approach of just pick the ankle, take him down, and finish it in the first round via ground and pound, which is where I'm leaning. I think DC is just going to make this like a quick, mop job.
I can't see Derrick Lewis going longer than 3 rounds anyways. It's been such a struggle for him in the past with guys who couldn't hold a candle to fucking DC. I don't even know if that's a saying. I might have just made that saying
couldn't
up.
even say who he couldn't hold a candle to in his last fight, but that was like 2.5 weeks ago, and he looked like dog shit with a Hail Mary, swing from the fence with 10 seconds left. Yeah, but I don't think DC will give him 10 seconds
DC's
at the end of the
smart.
fight. No, DC's a cunning little fox of a father.
Yeah, I mean, but if this upset happens, like I'm gonna be bummed because you've won me over so much with DC over the past year and a half or so that like I want to see him defend that title. I want to see him get that Brock fight. I want to see him sail off into the sunset as the GOAT, And I don't know what happens with the Jones thing, and I think we'll talk about that on a later episode.
Yeah,
because that's a whole conversation in its own. But I the only thing that I would want is like you want to see that Derrick Lewis interview if it happens though.
It would be clean, yeah. It would be a proper interview.
Do you think he goes full dong out? If he knocked out that other Joe Schmo who was kicking his ass. Well, I shouldn't say Joe Schmo because that guy's a great fighter. His name has escaped me.
Yeah.
But if he knocked him out and he dropped down to boxers and his balls were hot, imagine how hot his balls are going to be if he knocks out DC. They're going to be the hottest balls ever.
Oh, for sure. These are Madison Square Garden, sold out crowd, maybe like 800,000 people watching on pay-per-view. I think they're less than 1 million, but like those are some hot balls.
Those are some toasty balls, man.
Yeah.
I can't think of toastier balls if he knocks them out,
man.
He'll go world record toastiest balls.
I feel sorry for his wife already. Like she's gonna catch She's gonna catch some.
She's gonna get the burner.
Yeah. There's been a time or two in my life when I felt the burn after a nice lady, but nothing compared to what Lewis's wife's gonna catch.
Mrs. Lewis.
Mrs. Lewis is getting a hot one. And
all right, so I think
no penicillin will clear that up.
No, there's no penicillin for that, buddy. I don't even know if there's reconstructive surgery. I don't know if you can do a fucking skin graft. I don't know what you can do, man. Those balls are so hot.
Those are some hot balls.
So hot.
Okay, so before we wrap this up, let me run through the picks one last time. I'm going to break this down on BetDSI, website I love to use for betting, which I always lose on, but we're going to use it again anyway.
It's a great site, though. They do it well.
I did
out of all of them,
the interface is just really easy for me. I'm a user interface dude. What do you call that? User experience, whatever. I did a 5-dude parlay. I bet $20.
Oh yeah.
And I picked Jason Knight, David Branch, Derrick Brunson, Jacare Souza, Daniel Cormier. And on my $20 bet, if those 5 dudes win tonight, I'm looking at $735.
Fuck, we're going to the keg when you get back.
We're getting some keg. We might even do Red Lobster in this same night.
Oh shit! Yeah. Surf and turf. surf and turf.
That's a good payout.
And first time ever getting to drink with you is gonna be the best.
Yes, I
will.
Maybe I'll smuggle some Romanian skate park out of a backpack wine home with me next month. We'll see. But that's my bet, DSI parlay. $20 bet pays whatever, 500 something. Who knows? I don't know how odds work, but the parlay is a legit bet for. You don't want to risk a lot, but if you come through on 5 in a row, it pays nicely.
It's like a superfecta in horse racing.
It is.
If you pick those 5, it's paying. You're yelling superfecta, but it's always a long shot, right?
Yeah, I think if I get past Branch tonight, I'll be screaming superfecta already. Because I have a lot of confidence Souza and Cormier. Branch is a wild card.
If it gets to that DC fight and you're one away from that superfecta, we are like we're going on Skype for that fight if you get to that. All right? Yeah. We're going on Skype. Wherever we are, we're Skyping and I don't know, maybe we'll film it or something. If we get to the superfecta,
we might do a wrap
film
up.
it so we can see my new setup that I made because I thought this was going to be a video.
For at least 8 to 10 listeners, about 1.5 hours ago, me and Stu decided to do this show, and we just slapped this together real quick to get this out as a pre-show to UFC 230. And if we're looking at a superfecta, we might go live.
So 2 weeks ago, RJ sends me a text message. Yo, do you want to do an MMA YouTube show? I didn't check my Facebook for two weeks. I go, yeah, let's do it.
Yep.
That was an hour and a half ago. Now the show is coming to a close.
We're banging it out. I had plans tonight, and I just fucking threw them out the window because this is bigger than that.
Yeah, man, and this has been a fucking fun conversation too.
We can do this every week, man. We said
dude,
we're gonna do a 20-minute run breakdown of the card, and we're looking at an hour and 15 minutes already. Jeez.
Yeah.
It got away from us. Let's wrap this up. I'm Robert John.
Let's wrap this up.
This is Stu.
We get to that superfecta, and
superfecta.
Then we get to that superfecta. We're filming it. For all 8 of you guys, we'll put it out on YouTube. We'll put a clip out on
Facebook
Instagram.
Live. Who knows everything?
And if hopefully this didn't suck for everybody listening, because we want to do it again, because I had a fucking blast.
Yes.
And close us out, my man.
This is the first episode of Dudes on Dudes Fighting. We're looking for a superfecta and a live video in approximately 7 hours from now. If not, we'll be back next week to either break down this card where I went wrong and why I didn't win all this money, and preview the next UFC, because they have a UFC every 7 to 4 days. It's pretty damn often.
And we'll talk a little bit about that Mighty Mouse Askren trade and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll if there's no card coming up, we'll get into some of the more drama type business that they got going on, because there's no fucking end in sight with the drama going on in the UFC right now. So I think for the next foreseeable weeks, we're gonna have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, those nerds at university call it unpacking a topic, and there's a lot to unpack. There's a lot to unpack too.
I hate nerds.
I hate nerds.
I want to smash them.
I want to rub my hot balls all over them.
I'm 5'6", and I just want to smash nerds. All right, brother. Love you, man.
Let's wrap this up.
Anybody who listens to this, and good evening.
See you next week.